Do you think anyone will be joining us?
I think so, I think there's yeah, and
Well, then, I shall call the meeting to order for the City of Cordova Parks and Rec Commission on Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. Can I get a roll call, please?
absolutely, Hank Kirchhoff. Aaron Cole,
Here.
Gabby Brown, here. Aaron Rodriguez. Pete Hayden, here. Jim Fritsch,
Here.
Dan Carpenter,
Here.
Cora.
Excellent. Is there an approval, the motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting as written?
Motion to approve the minutes from September 30th, 2025, regular meeting.
Second.
Great. We'll have the approval of the minutes. And is there any communication from visitors?
Nope.
Okay. We'll go to the director's report then.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. I know it's a busy time of year for everyone. I think I have a meeting every night this week, with budget season happening. So I hope everyone had a chance to look over, the packet. There's some, things in there we're gonna discuss a little bit later, but I just wanted to go over what's happening at Parks and Rec, right now. So we just released our fall activity guide, so there's a copy of it on the table here. We're getting a really big show of support with our new programs that we're having. We have a lot of basketball players right now at the Darky every night and games on the weekends, so I invite you all to those at Mount Eccles. And on our Facebook page is the schedule. So we're doing the basketball league, the skaters cabin project is coming along well. We're still submitting grants for it, and I just submitted one this week. Hopefully, I'm reaching out to a few other places that said that they would have them available and send applications for us to fill out. So Taylor has been helping me with that, which has been amazing. So we're just really waiting to build up those funds to get the down payment, which I have on the website, the Patron SCD website, that I did extend until the end of the year, get the 20% down. For it. The full update, Peterson's Welding came in and replaced the piece of pipe that had a hole in it. So they took the liner apart and then opened up the shell of the pool and found immediately the hole, which was not fun to see, but to my relief, that was where it was, so where we had thought. So they were really quick in getting everything back together. They pressure tested the pipe overnight. It held, and then we also did the test. So I reached out to Renosis, who's the pool lining company, and they're very busy, but we're on the schedule for mid-December now for it. When we first, they were just waiting for Peterson's to get done before we could schedule it. So we are, if they do have a cancellation, well, then feel free to come out and fix that. So, and then we'll start the process of filling the pool back up and testing it. So it's great news. It's been a long year. I understand that everybody has been waiting for the pool to be up and running, including myself. We have set up for the Mount Eccles School is coming into Bedarkey. They're displaced a little bit during certain times. So with the weather turning, they're coming into Bedarkey most days. So, yeah, so they're using our reservation system and utilizing our open gym time for their gym class. Let's see, the workplace safety came in, we invited them in, ACOSH, so they do an OSHA inspection of all our facilities, and I'm proud to announce that we did have very little deficiencies in the parks maintenance of the Darky and of the pool. So it's a huge leap forward if you look back at the inspections from 2020, how far we've come in safety, and just making all employees aware of how important that is. We did get inspected by OSHA and the health department. More and more it's happening. They pop in, they're in town because of the canneries and fish processing, and they stop by the pool, health and safety does. So I've got a pretty good relationship with them. So having ACOSH come in was great. They're doing other buildings in the city too, so just preventative safety for that. So I do want to say is, we go through the agenda tonight, I want to emphasize the importance of understanding the, excuse me, the current state of the city and the role our department plays in maintaining a strong and active community. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And that we just have a lot of difficult decisions right now, which is why I don't have the budget yet before us. It keeps getting changed. So hopefully soon we'll have a final budget for Parks and Rec, which is a lot less already than what it was last year.
Do we know what caused the big hole in the pipe?
I
The
do
pool?
know there was a, there was a screw that went into it. So it wasn't a deficiency in the pipe itself. It was a screw that had got screwed in there accidentally during the renovation.
Was it the liner company?
It was the liner company that did it. We are suspecting, but we had no plans of what the pool looked like. No plumbing plans. So even when they were initially doing it, we had no idea that any of the plumbing was in the location that it was in.
Oh, okay.
Because there was no history written of it and there's no as-built of the pool. I know where all the plumbing is right now, for the pool. So,
Will you report that?
what's that?
Will you be recording that?
Yeah, so we have lots of pictures, it's documented. You know, it just had been one of those things where they had done a renovation years ago on it. And it wasn't documented, so it's very disappointing. But we're just moving forward and figuring out, you know, what that looks like. And they have obviously been very helpful in the situation, but nobody involved had an idea.
Yeah.
So there's no indication that there's gonna be further problems with
No, the pipe
old piping?
looked beautiful other than a really direct hit to the middle of it. So it was very unfortunate. You know, it just really solidifies the fact that even if things historically are changing hands, that we need to have everything documented and pictures done and it mapped out. Because, yeah, we didn't know.
That wasn't the only leak, though. There were other things that.
So the gasket leak that we had, like, so, yes, we had a clog in the number 5 line, that was original. The gasket leak that we had, that cleared up a significant water loss. It was to the point of like, when it was like, okay, we're still leaking, it was enough to make me uncomfortable. Where are we leaking to? Let's get this fixed while we're down. And it ended up being a hole. Also, it wasn't, after we had replaced the gaskets, it was much better.
Is there any potential for Renosis to cover some of the additional repair costs?
The potential, I'm gonna say not right now. I mean, it's definitely a city decision, but it would have to go into litigation for it. So
They're like cutting a deal to come up here with the
I
liner.
feel like they're being very helpful.
Okay.
I feel like they're being, I work closely with, the project manager. You know, everyone involved is it's just a very unfortunate situation. Of course, don't wanna pay for anything. But if we didn't know and they didn't know,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, it's one of those things. Just have to move forward and I feel like they are giving a good estimate on coming up here and helping out.
We might have to work with them in the future.
Yeah. They didn't, I mean, they do feel fair. They didn't know either.
For Skater's Cabin, you were looking at putting 20% down on like a cabin kit? Is that the
Yeah,
next
so
step?
in my last budget, and you can look online too, there's on patrons to do, the next step is, we'll start raising money for, it goes to everything, but if we have that 20% down, that's when we can actually order a kit for it, so we can decide which one we want. Most of the companies are that way. I chose one to present last time.
With having to have like engineering with the whole project,
Mhm.
does that, you can like pick out the cabin and then like hire the engineer and be like, this is what we want?
Yeah, so the
Figure out
project,
the
Yes, they, will still have to do the civil engineering, but the cabin can go on any, they said it can go on any structure, you know, any foundation that we decide to put it on.
Okay.
So, and they said we could put it on our old foundation. Probably not, but, yeah, that we can decide how we want it,
Okay.
there, so. Mhm. Yeah, so,
And are we looking at possibly getting some help from the Forest Service on the engineering or engineering costs?
it sounds like right now they're not, they're more, I work closely with them, they have offered to help out with some of the tree, with the tree cutting, they really can't, they're in a hard spot right now. So, you know, more manpower than anything, we do have some trees there that are, need to come down. People looking, professionals look at them, we've had them come down, like the branches come down on skaters over the years where they're like, this is gonna, you know, damage something, so while we're there, while we're building a new cabin, yeah, they said that they would help with that part of it.
I was just thinking they built a lot of cabins in some crazy places and have dealt with a lot of different types of foundations and.
Yeah, they have, it definitely, I think it's worth it to just consult with them and see what they think, they're experts at building cabins and locations where there's not cabins.
And then as far as the budget, like, I'm just curious, because I'm not really familiar with like this whole process with the city and like the
Yeah.
budget season. Like, what does that look like? And then like, what is our role in it? Like,
So if I submitted the first round of budgets a few weeks ago, we all did as department heads. And then they were facing a really large deficit in the city after everyone got their budgets in. So they actually sent the budgets back to us and said that we needed to take another 10%. They set them back to 2025. Our budget from then, and then asked to take another 25%, 10% off of that. So we were 10% lower than that. It's not great. The city's in a hard spot right now. And then, this last cut was a smaller one. But I think it lists on this next agenda that I had a computer listed at the pool, we needed a new one there. I was able to get one. And then they took that out of the budget too. It's all departments are getting hit pretty hard. They're also not bringing back, positions, unfilled positions that were cut last year, and they're cutting more, and they've actually, cut a filled position. So, it's gotten,
Yeah, it looks like it's the maintenance position, part-time lifeguard, pool ops leader, have all been cut since 24.
yes. And not the backfill, so.
and
And
so
then,
as far as like the commission's role in that, like, we'll see it once it's finalized and then.
yeah, and then, you know, I just really, look to you guys as a sounding board, your advisory committee, how we can move forward, what we can and can't do, any ideas, that you might have, but it is gonna impact our, everything that we do. And I'm not sure yet what that looks like. When I budget temp workers, that is something that is, for instance, supports the pool, pretty heavily, and then recreation in the summer. And so when I submit my budget, I submit it that, like I want it staffed, like it was this year. And that was all cut, a lot of it. So like support staff for the pool for lifeguarding, the school program for lifeguarding, the swim team. Having it open at night. So we're just kind of looking at what numbers, I can look back and see what numbers, are highest. So we know lap swimming in the morning is high, and then there's a lull in the middle of the day. And then realistically, like how can we keep the doors open?
There was a time period, and I'm not saying it was a positive thing, but there was a time period where there was lap swimming and there was no guard at the pool.
Mhm,
I mean, there might have been somebody in the building.
mhm. Yeah,
That
so.
might have been a guard, but
Yeah, so that has changed, and so our Alaska doesn't have a lifeguard policy that you don't have lifeguards. It doesn't mean they don't want you to. They want you to fall back on what your city tells you to do. And our city liability insurance requires lifeguards.
Okay,
We're trained for 2 lifeguards at a time. Staffing that has been a little bit difficult, so I train in CPRO. I teach that. It's a first aid. It's with backboarding, so it's CPR with backboarding. So the front desk staff always trained in that, so at least if we have a front desk staff, that is. But really, right now, I'm working on trying to get everybody cross-trained for lifeguarding. I also have, I think we have 17 volunteers right now that we rotate. Some of them are lifeguards. It's hard to count on that. But there's, yeah, so to answer your question, they do now require
okay,
that we have to have lifeguards, and they have to be actively lifeguarding.
okay,
They can't be doing anything else. So about 2 years ago is when we stepped in at the school level and helped support them lifeguarding. Because although they were lifeguard, I recertified Jeff Kimberger at the time. He wasn't one, but it's just hard. You can't lifeguard and coach and teach.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's where we're at with that.
I figured the liability was an issue.
Yep, yeah, it's a huge one.
So the school coming in, if they have somebody that is lifeguard certified, but is an aide, they can't be doing 2 jobs at once.
Exactly.
Okay.
And yeah,
But if that was their only job and there was like a different aide, I'm just thinking if the school kind of bared that cost of paying for the lifeguard.
yeah, I think they're in a hard spot, too, but I totally get it. We
Sure.
work together, for instance, we had one lifeguard that worked for the school and for us. And days that we couldn't come in, I would take him and put him on our payroll to the school, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So we had that, but he was a temp lifeguard for us, so it is like, once I get the final budget, kind of seeing what that looks like as temp lifeguards, and for programs too. Yeah. But the school, yeah,
You're kind of already doing creative things there.
yeah, we already were, just because we want it to work and we wanna be safe. We document our rescues. We've had 2 during the school swim in the past 24 months. And that is with 2 teachers on that. So it happens, they get pulled away. I think it's a stressful situation when somebody has to do it all. And there are kids, and so I've worked really, I think, putting that safety first has been very important. And I think the school's done everything I've asked, everyone's been on board with it. Yeah, but it is a large cost. It's for that, and the swim team are too big. The swim team also has lifeguards on staff, so we were trying to, if we couldn't come in, they could. So, making sure everyone's safe. But liability changes everything, and it's getting stricter and stricter.
Well, it seems like it makes sense to have guards for when it's busy, whether it's with the school
Right,
or
exactly.
whatever, and not if they're not getting participation in the middle of the day, then.
Right, so that's how, like, a lull in the middle of the day and then having something at night typically. I think that's how it was when I started lifeguarding here. We do have a full-time lifeguard, so what that looks like, but I think that would be. There's ways around it, like we open pretty early in the morning for swim team, so usually an 8-hour shift isn't too hard to fill by school, but it's the ones we do have school lifeguards that are primarily just doing the school times. It's gonna be a large impact on us and financially.
Do we still have you and someone else here to certify lifeguards?
Yeah, so Logan and I kept up our certification, so as soon as the pool fills up, we'll start running certifications.
That's great. That saves a lot of money to bringing people in to train us.
Yeah, I really value that also, and I try to keep up on everything that I can. I think I also teach layman CPR, and there's a new update for that, so I'll be doing that in 2026. But I try to keep up on. But when I say everything was cut, it really has been all our training and travel and
But we'll be able to have training here once.
I hope to, yes, I will train, it's, we need to do it.
So when they're going through your budget, they're not just like telling you like, not only a percentage loss, but they're like line iteming, like. Get rid of that, get rid of
Almost
that.
all, they said, one line item without computer, but, across the board, it depends on it, it's across the board. Maybe last year it was line item, but this year it was at 10%, which I thought it was really great that we got to have that choice.
Yeah, makes sense.
At the end of the day, it got cut so much that it really didn't.
What was your original temp funds that you had budgeted?
So they do it
Versus-
different for each one. I can get the numbers for next time for you guys too, but I calculated what we had this year for temps. And put it on for next year. We had the exact same schedule, so I think that, the pool was, or I don't wanna say an exact number, I'm sorry. But it's cut down probably to, I think, 25,000, maybe less of each place for the entire year. And they were up around probably 60.
Okay. And so when you were budgeting revenue for next year, this year came in fairly high.
It did, we did come in pretty high for revenue, and I think that really reflected on Parks and Rec, too, that we were supporting the general fund.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, we want to be able, we're subsidized, but we don't get an amount that every year it changes. Depending on the general fund, and the more we can support the general fund, the better it's gonna be for everybody involved.
And when you say general fund, like the money that Parks and Rec makes, does it go into the general fund for the city or does it go into Parks and Rec?
General fund for the city.
Okay, unlike like Harbor, they have like their own
Yes,
stuff.
so
going on.
ODIAC
We don't have
is a enterprise fund, which is like the harbor, everything it makes goes back in, and the harbor's an enterprise fund and, utilities.
Oh, yeah, guys in the camper park is? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so that is another, I'm excited about ODIAC, just because I'm always excited about it, but,
Yeah.
we did great there this year and, thank you, Taylor. And, I think it's just up from here, that's how I feel with it, and if we can keep showing that people are coming here and using it, we can keep reinvesting in that. It's an exciting opportunity, I think, for Parks and Rec.
So are you budgeting based on this year's revenue for next year's revenue? Or is that a conservative revenue amount for next year, or how do you feel about that?
So when it comes out, we've done a conservative amount because, are you talking, sorry, about for the Parks and Rec as a whole? No,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I did, budget lower after discussions with the city manager and, the director, finance director. It just made sense not to try to go big this year because we don't know how much we're gonna be open to the public, so.
It's just such a tricky thing, because even if you budgeted like $10,000 higher, because that's what this year is reflecting, that could be an extra $10,000 towards temp funds. Right, to fund things next year, so it's this really, but I understand
Yeah,
why.
and we're in the, I think, beginning stages of finding something that's, what works for us and that is, sustainable for us and building that up. So we might have a small, a really tight budget this year, but if we continue to, create revenue, capture the revenue mostly, and then just spread the word that this is really important and having a consistency across the board for people paying for things. It really does make a difference. We lost an employee this week, so it's really hard to, go forward with things like that. So,
We Parks and Rec or city?
this is big.
What is 10%? What is a 10% cut? What amount of money is that?
So it's a 10% cut on the operating budget. I can get back with that total. I'll have the budget next time, I'm hoping.
Okay.
You can see it on the city council too, they have it, the draft version. So it was just on the operating. side of things, not on person, so temp isn't operating, it wasn't on the full-time employees, so that's set in stone. So one thing you'll see is our insurance over the years has gone up too, so it's been a big increase over the past few years for our employees.
So there's a work session tomorrow for city council. They're gonna be talking about this version of the budget. And then they're gonna send it back to Sam or push it forward to the next council meeting, and then they're gonna eventually vote on it
Right,
in upcoming
exactly.
meetings. So I feel like it is
I think.
important to, as commission members, to advocate to city council for Parks and Rec. But I mean, it's helpful, I guess, if you have solutions instead of just saying, you know, fund Parks and Rec, and there's no money anywhere to do that. But sometimes just talking with, I've talked to a couple of council members just this week, kind of expressing that like these cuts to the temp funds are going to not allow us to go swim with our kids on Saturdays, and it's going to impact how many days a week the kids can do swim team and how many activities there's going to be. And I mean, Wendy Rainey was in the paper saying, I don't want any more little iceberg swim teams in here, telling me that we can't cut the pool, because she absolutely does not want to cut the pool, and most of the council doesn't. So I feel like explaining it in those terms of we're gonna lose access with this drastic of a cut to the temp funds is good for them to hear, because, you know, the city manager, she's talking about the city as a whole, so,
Right, yeah,
it's hard to advocate for.
advocating for it, and just, I mean, everyone's losing this year,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, and finding solutions, like Melissa said, and I think I'm working hard to, come up with solutions to it, and it's the long game. Right now, we're dealing with what we have, but we really need to start planning going forward on things that are more sustainable and not, the city funding us so much.
So if, can, does a lifeguard have to be on your payroll, or they can be a volunteer if
They
they are?
can be a volunteer, so I have a, kind of a
Okay.
program to go through for that, so.
Okay,
You get the lifeguarding certification, and we've had a few on staff, but just, you kind of just have to go through the whole, SOPs and EAPs and everything, and know the facility. Come to in-service trainings that we have, I invite everybody, to them, because I have ones that, come in and help. We have an MOU with the fire department when they do training in the pool, so they supply lifeguards that are certified. But just making sure that they're involved in any changes.
yeah.
And trained, you know, and so, I definitely advocate for it. It is hard with volunteers, because they're not always available.
Yeah, but then that could like put some of the responsibility back on like icebergs or high school swim team, where it's like, okay, if you want to operate, you need to provide a lifeguard.
Right, yeah, and that's what we've done in the past, it's been like that, but what really, we're still working on how that looks, because if that lifeguard doesn't show up,
But then
the
it's not on
practice,
them.
then they can't practice,
Yeah,
you know, so there
it's
is
like if
like,
the coach doesn't show up, you know.
yeah, so,
So-
I mean, and they, like I said, they're doing everything I've asked of them, and
Yeah.
things have changed drastically over the few years, just because of liability and inspections and that stuff, so, yeah, it's just making sure we're all safe and making sure that the person that says they're gonna lifeguard shows up, and if they don't, we don't get open the pool.
Well, I think I mean, I'm happy to go advocate the council too for things if we've got like a rough idea of what a schedule is gonna look like based on this budget for next year, or that sort of thing. I'll go back and look at some of the numbers that were in previous work session packets and kind of look at that. Cause I feel like that's where we can be helpful before they decide. I don't want them to vote on budget and then
Right.
we're scrambling after it's already set, but, yeah, also recognizing there isn't,
Yeah,
they're not withholding anything.
they're not, I mean, it's been a tough year.
Yeah,
Very tough, and we're, you know, whether we have a lot of things that, even though we're very important, we have a lot of important things to fund in the city. And so keeping keeping that, funded is key. So, yeah, and just, we're gonna have our fee schedule later, so that's something we'll talk about, and then if you support that. It's gonna go to city council also.
Okay, are there any other questions for Samantha on the director's report? Are you here to join the Parks and Rec Commission?
Oh, no. I thought I have a comment, but I'm not here to join.
Yes, well, if it's all right with everyone, we can jump back to communications
Yeah.
from visitors
Sure.
before we move on to the next. All right,
Am I allowed to comment?
yes, please, come on up, and these mics are live since we're on Zoom. So you can sit there and state your name and address.
Thank you. My name is Paula Payne and my address is 1805 Lakeview Drive. I'm here to make a comment on, the proposal, Kim Two's proposal, correct? I'm in the right place at the right time.
The planning and zoning meetings next door.
Oh, I'm not in the right place at the right time. See, I was, okay. Okay.
I'll admit, I feel like it was great to see you.
Oh, yeah, it was.
No, there was dueling meetings, the advertisement said it was in there.
There were a lot of folks walking past to go to that, which was one.
And I,
And they posted a flyer today
I
too,
know.
that it
Oh,
was
no.
in here, so then I was like, oh, I bet we're getting moved.
I know.
Yeah. That's okay.
Okay, well, that was exciting. Now we'll move on to the unfinished business with the FY 26 fees review that were begun last month.
Yeah, so I have to have the fee schedule submitted, but typically I would have you guys vote on it, I'd send it to city council. I feel like I wanted to backtrack a little bit because we had talked about the membership fees. And we did not talk about the rest of the fee schedule last time because it is kind of separated. This is the full fee schedule that I'm proposing for this year. There's some big changes on here. We I'm talking a lot recently about balancing community value with financial reality right now, and this is really where I'm leaning in the fee schedule. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. The changes to this fee schedule right now are I'm asking for nonprofits across the board, some equity with that to pay, but they get a 25% discount for their rentals and when they come in, so that's something that's different on the fee schedule. Nonprofits usually come in, I give them a discount, but some nonprofits have always had complimentary service, complimentary rentals to each location. And it sets up for an unfair system where we just want to have it equal across the board and have it in the fee schedule. So everyone can pay. I'm dropping down to 20% the workplace wellness, which does affect city members too. It was 25% off the fee schedule. And I am adding that the parks for events and leagues also get rented, and that is including our snack shack. We have, I think it's, if we're gonna talk about sustainable revenue, it's something that we have already. We need to put money into it. We've been trying for a long time to, get that fixed up for the snack shack, but having a system where everyone can rent it if they want to. And then collecting those rental fees, from it, I think would be a great resource. It's a pretty cool place to hang out. So, having that an option, we already have a system, our civic rec system already has the parks loaded on it. We use it for the school for tracking, when they're using fields or if someone does want a field, they can go on there and, what that prevents is if we're doing maintenance on the field, we'll block it off. If we're doing our own program, so we were coming into, we would have a program on Hollis and then somebody else would already have something going on and So it prevents that from happening, hopefully. We just schedule it out, so, yeah, would love to discuss it.
I was not even aware that the snack shack belonged to Parks and Rec. Not going to lie.
It's been, if you look on the condition assessment report too. So.
That makes sense.
Has it not been rented by folks that are using it in the past? Seems like a.
And I did meet with, so I'm in touch with, someone else that has a similar system, in Wasilla, a director there, and how they run theirs, just everything to do with it, food safety, what they supply. When they rent theirs, they just supply water, a countertop, whoever's renting it brings in what they want and can leave it there, for the duration of the rental. There's permits that can, you know, you can get day permits, week, monthly for food, so having that in a contract, in a rental agreement, that they're, when they rent it, they're liable for it.
Are we talking about the snack shack at Speedo? No.
No, over at the Buffalo,
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, so that part,
That's true.
and the park out, the, Field of Dreams.
Mhm.
So specifically, so in events too, all the, you know, if we're taking up a whole park for an event. Number one, it would be nice to know, I'm usually the last person to know, but that's changing. But also it's a revenue source that we should be getting.
It includes, Little League as well,
Yeah, it would, so to include everybody that's within it,
because they haven't paid in the past.
it's correct.
Are they a nonprofit?
I believe that they are. Would be at a discounted rate. So it's definitely a conversation across the board to have, but it's, there's a lot, I have the hours rented, I have a lot of spreadsheets involved in this, a lot of number crunching, it's a lot of money. That we're not getting, and it's not directed at any entity, because some people are paying for certain things, so it's just, it's not equal, and that's the hard part.
I think too, when you've just been doing it for so long a certain way, and Cordova is very generous in a lot of ways, and that's really wonderful, but then you come into this situation where you look at other locations that are even similarly sized to us, and it's not equitable, and we're sitting here with a big revenue deficit, trying to make it all happen, so.
Exactly, and this is where we talk about, Gabby, that, you know, supporting the general fund, it's something that, can really help out in this situation, having, something that's more sustainable across the board. And I really feel like having this, it's that foundation, you know, we're setting that foundation for, cause I don't know if this is gonna get better with the city. If we're gonna get funded any more than we are, but we can help ourselves here a little bit more. And as people are, you know, positions aren't getting filled or even leaving, it's hard to see that, you know, like that, those numbers could help out so much.
I wonder if there's a way to incentivize some of these field rentals with like, you can get a pop-up tent with your rental to borrow, or.
It would be amazing, I
Something.
mean, you know, I have big dreams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is the first part of it, and then what next, you know? If we can continue to have this, even, if I speak about Odiak, people are coming here. They wanna come here, there's recreation here, they wanna do the things, they take our book, we put that everywhere. They wanna do, things in Cordova, and so having a place for them to come and have events or rent something, or, you know, even with the Ranger tugs that came in last summer, they called everywhere wanting to do all the things, they rented out everything they could. And they were even willing to rent out fields, so, it's just something that we really, it's an untapped resource right now. But I know, I came from a small town, and I know it is hard to change, things like this, but it is the reality that what we have right now could even decline further.
I'd rather pay to rent something than to lose it completely, so.
Okay, if there aren't any further questions or comments on the fees, we'll move on to new business. Which is the upcoming commission vacancies.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk for a second about the vacancies. There's a couple that are gonna expire in November, so you guys can sign up, so it's Kathy are gonna be expiring, but if you would like to sign up again, or anybody else wants to be on the commission, the signups are the same, they're online, I can get them to you, I can email them. And then the process is still the same. So it goes to city council, so we'll have 2 vacancies after November.
Is that posted on the city website?
It is, and it's on every agenda at the end of it. You'll see what vacancies are gonna happen. So I just wanted to touch base on it because we want to fill those spots, and I know that you've only you just got me. So if you know of anyone, or if anyone wants to step up again and do it, I encourage that. We want to fill these spots. I think I just love having you guys too. So it's nice, and I think Parks and Rec is just doing great. I have high hopes for it, so I have big plans, and I think right now we're just in the initial stages of that, and it's gonna go through some growing pains.
Yeah. I'll do it, yeah. If they'll have me. Yeah, and the, being able to do Zoom makes it easier, cause I just don't always know my schedule, but I've been around a lot lately, so.
Great. Is there any commission business from the floor? And waiting for commission members to say anything, nothing,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything?
I appreciate the positive attitude with all the negative stuff going on, and put the best foot forward and doing what we can, and I love this fee schedule, it's clean and easy to understand and spare, it seems. Yeah, great work.
Thank you. None of this is, preach, this is personal to any entity that's using Parks and Rec. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, definitely agree with those comments. Thank you for everything. The programs are really great. Everybody's good to see happy faces in there.
It's been amazing.
Fun Friday is awesome.
Yeah.
Stefan loves Fun Friday. It's a great way to burn a couple hours on Friday. Yeah, thank you for.
Yeah, we want to keep supporting, after school stuff on Friday, so. And I push to keep supporting that for the parents too, and we love having them there, so.
A lot of people are getting up early too, which is surprising me. A lot of people in here.
Yeah, Jake's doing a few classes now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had a big following this morning.
Nice.
Yes, he did. It's great, I love it, it's awesome, makes my heart happy.
Keep people moving.
Yeah, definitely, it's healthy.
A thought that I had, I think at the last meeting, was that if there are any specific meetings, like, city council meetings that some people track a little bit better than I do, that you could note in here, what would be particularly helpful for commission members to join, or?
Sure, would you like me to put it on the pending agenda, or I can put it somewhere?
Yeah.
Definitely. It is important, there's a lot of good meetings.
Yeah.
A lot of decisions happening right now.
It'd be helpful for me to see it as something that I already look at, instead of looking online.
Council loves it when people show up to meetings, but I can tell you right now, it is so much more enjoyable to pop an earbud in and listen to those when you're making dinner or sitting at home. So they're all on YouTube, which is super nice.
Okay, any pending agenda items for this?
We want to ask if, so the next meeting falls over Thanksgiving week, I believe, possibly. Sorry, I have a date, it does, yes, we did. It doesn't, I'll be here. I'm happy to be here, but if, you guys decide not to meet over that week, just let me, we want to cancel that one.
would we, since we have a forum, would we like to have that discussion?
It could be November 25th. I will be here.
I will not.
I will not be here, but I will be somewhere with internet.
I'll be here.
We'll have a meeting. I think it'll be, I know it's gonna be a great meeting.
How many people do we need for a forum? Okay.
So I'll have, you guys will have the final budget, then, and the final fee schedule too.
Be good. Okay, we'll plan on having a meeting next month.
Yeah.
There's nothing else, then I just need a motion to adjourn the meeting. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Nice work, Aaron.
Yeah, you're a good job.